Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to take the hands-on experience on SQL. So if you are not aware what is SQL, so you need to please go through my previous video and just check it out. What is SQL? What are some basic concepts of SQL? So before coming to this video, if you go through that video, it would be really very helpful to understand the concept of SQL. So let's start with it. So let me take you to the concepts of SQL. So let me go through one of the sheet. Okay. So this complete sheet, if you try to implement this complete sheet, if you try to open with your Spring to your SSMS, so the software which we will be using to run your queries in SQL is the SSMS software. Okay, so you can install SSMS software, Microsoft SQL Server. So you can install it that software and you can try to run your applications. So let me just go through the code, like what I have executed and trying to execute. So suppose I wanted to execute some query. So if I wanted to create some, I wanted to save some details in the DB. So what I should do is I would create a user details table. Okay, so suppose we are executing one scenario where I wanted to save the details of the user. So I should create one table called user details table. So if you see this expression, I have used begin transaction and rollback transaction. So why use begin transaction and why use rollback transaction? So if you have seen various videos, they start executing your queries. They won't execute within these commands. So why I'm using these command, begin transaction and rollback transaction, is suppose I'm executing my query and there is some failure happened while saving, while creating, or while getting the details from the DB. So in that case, your transaction will be rolled back, which means that it's not like only half the things would have happened. Suppose I'm creating a table with user details table, and while creating that table, I am creating the table with these fields. Okay, so when it start creating a table, it create a location of this memory location with the user detail, and then it start reserving the memory for your ID, name, date of birth. Suppose it created the memory for these, and after when it start creating for the rest of the field, there was some issue which have been happened. So in that scenario, your transaction, what happened, it will get rolled back. Means either all will happen or either none will happen. So that's why I prefer using begin transaction and rollback transaction. And you should also try using executing all the queries within this scope. So let's start. So if you wanted to create a table, it's a plain English language. You just need to write create table and the name of your table. Now you can open your brackets and whatever field you wanted to store. Suppose I wanted to make ID as an unique identifier. Okay, unique identifier. If now you are aware what is primary key, what is foreign key. If you are not aware, please go through that video and just check it out. What is a primary key and what is foreign key? So I'm making this as a unique. So I'm writing ID int as an identity. Now, why I'm taking identity? If you see, identity means it will every time whenever any insert will happen to the table, it will start taking from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So ID will be of int type and it's I've taken as an identity. Now, the name. I want name as a varchar. A varchar, these all I have explained. If you go through my previous video, what are the data types? In any language, there is a data types, which you are already aware. So if you are learning Java, there also we have a data types to store your values. We have collections to hold the values and do some processing. So it's the same concept. Just the syntaxes are different. So I wanted to store name in a varchar. So for any string, we use varchar and the size you can specify. So it can store up to 200 characters. Now date of birth is a date time, address varchar. And which field you wanted to make as a primary means as a unique identifier. Why? Like suppose I want somewhere I store all my details, and when I need some information, a thing which I should provide so that I can get a unique details is the ID. So ID cannot be same for two person. If you are working in company, the ID is different, but the name can be same. So there are two people with same name can happen, but they won't have the same IDs. So you can understand in that way. So this is how your table get created. Okay, now second is, what is begin transaction and what is commit transaction? When you write a begin transaction and when you write a commit transaction, whatever details you write, your transaction will commit. Okay, which you wanted to commit means which you wanted to make it happen, and already your transaction will execute completely. So you can write your commit transaction. When you commit, these details will definitely commit. And when you write rollback, it will get roll back your transaction. Means it will not execute if you wanted to check it, which I already explained you. So when you write commit, it will execute completely. So it's the same thing. This is the same syntax if you see. Now suppose I created the table. Okay, after creating the table, suppose I wanted to insert some details in your table. So your table will get created with the blank field like ID, name, date of birth, address, and this. Now I wanted to insert some values. So to insert into that table, you just need to use insert into table name, insert into table name, and the details which you wanted to insert. Now, what thing you can pass? See, ID you cannot pass because I told you it's an identity. Whenever you insert new records, a new ID will get generated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that. First record 1, second record 2, third record 3, fourth record 4. So you can just enter name and you can enter address. Okay, name and address. So how you can do is person name, you can specify I'm entering name and address. And then what you can do is you can provide the values like this and this. Now you can do insert into table name with other fields like this, this, and this. Okay, so you specified date of birth, you specified address, you specified name, and the ID you don't need to specify because it's already a primary key, which it will start inserting 1, 2, 3, 4. Based, it will allocate the number to you based on your time of insert. Now I insert the values, and suppose I wanted all the details from that table. I wanted to see the records. So you can fire the select star from the name of the table with no lock. With no lock means I want the perfect record without any lock on a table. Okay, that's why I use with no lock. Now this is again second inserting into other table. Insert, suppose we created one table like this. Okay, this is one of the table and this is second table. Okay, I inserted one record in one table and second record in other table. So if suppose you wanted to insert one record from this table to this table, how you can do is, let me show you. So insert this, select these from the person name table. So like this, you can insert record from one table to other table. Okay, so insert record from one table to other table, you can execute this query. Insert into this new table by selecting these record from other table. But note that whenever you are creating two tables and we are trying to insert one to other, both the schema of both the tables should be same. Like you see the schema when I'm saying is ID, name, date of birth, address, and primary key. So let's stop with this video and let's proceed with the second video. Thank you for watching this video. There is a continuation to this video.